On time and on purpose. I love it. Good to see you all. Check, check the integrity out on those people. All right. I'd like to share some wins while we're waiting for. All right. Well, I'll go first. New retreat. Well, we've got our first deposit down for the new retreat. Excited about that. Let's see, a $1,200 coaching package yesterday. That brings me to about 13 over the course of the past 4 weeks, 13,000, which is pretty cool. Including another sale. Somebody approached me, asked me for a VIP enchanters meetup, which is like I take them out and show them how to talk to women. Yeah, like life is great. Thanks for your joy and celebration. All right, that's enough for me with wins. What we saw something about debt and negotiation today, I think.
I'll share about that. So I got the lawsuit that came in last week on Saturday. I had set a deadline, and there's actually like two wins incorporated into one, which is I crossed a threshold of activity and willingness to change and willingness to learn with implementing technology and different forms of AI. And I a trial subscription for this AI agent called Lindy, which is a text-based thing. You just text it like SMS text messages, and it acts like a personal assistant. So I've been giving it like my meal plan, things that I'm doing at work. I told it about the lawsuit. I told it about other things that entrepreneurial ideas that I have, and it's like it's just turned everything into a schedule, and it checks in with me. It's like, okay, number one priority today, boom, this, and then after work do this, and then I also have it educating me at noon. It sends me an update about different things about the fencing world that I want to know and learn about that I've been trying to sell and just didn't quite understand for a while. So I'm getting like little snack bites of education from that. And it's been this really great source of accountability. So I was able to set my own personal deadline for when I was going to respond to the lawsuit. And then it had broke it all down into steps and then reminded me. And then I took action. I didn't update it, but then it reminded me again. And I was like, oh, hey, I already did that. And it was like, okay, what was the result? I just share what's going on. And then today I got a call back from them, and I was able to step into the negotiation. And this is like by far the most fun I've had with negotiation. I've had multiple scenarios where recently, so I negotiated for a laptop, normally $500. I got it for 200 after a whole wild scene where like this woman just like totally reacted very intensely, and I just followed the principles of good communication and specifically hostage negotiation, because that's like it felt like she was holding herself hostage with this crazy warped perspective, and so I was just like supporting her and freeing herself from thinking that everyone in the world is trying to take advantage of her. And then I got the deal, without even having to give that number. Like that was the number I had in mind, but I never even gave that number, and she just came up with it after I let her go through all this stuff. I had this other guy come and try to get some boards from me, and we negotiated a deal, and then he was trying to back out, and I like lovingly held firm and said exactly what I thought. Like I think this would be better for me. Since we've already talked this through pretty thoroughly, how can we make this work? And he came up with the exact middle ground, or not even middle ground, closer to my solution that we needed, and both of the scenarios were high, or like one was really high, like powerful, negative, quote unquote, energy, and the other one was like really like murky and like heavy and slow, also like dark energy, and both of them, I totally was able to invert the situation, and they were just like it was like I was like, well, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm unattached, so I'm just gonna keep applying the principles that are coming up to me in flow. Because I've listened to Never Split the Difference probably 5 or 6 times at this point, and I've done multiple one pagers on negotiations and different things like that, and I've written and taken notes, and I like go along and I practice in my head and even out loud. And so then today, when I got the call back, one, I already had a one pager ready for this whole negotiation. And then two, I was just in such a different flow state. And because I was in the middle of work, and the woman was like, completely unprepared to actually negotiate. It took like 2 calibrated questions for her to be like, here's the absolute line that I can offer you before I get fired, or before I get a mark on my account. And I was like, okay, amazing. That still doesn't work for me. Well, in certain circumstances, we can do this plus a down payment. Like if you can do a certain percentage of that. You had mentioned 2,000. Could you do that, or like the 2,600 number as a down payment? And I was like, well, so does it matter what the down payment is? And she goes, oh, well, there's a minimum of 25%. I was like, okay, so that's like, a little over 1,000. That's like 1,200. I was like, I could reasonably do 1,500 by the end of the month, and then start monthly payments after that, depending on what they are. And then she was like, okay, well, let me see. And then she's like, okay, boom. And then I had shared the deal with you. I got the terms written right here on the back of the lawsuit. And, so I'll be calling back and getting email confirmation for everything tomorrow, moving that forward, and it just feels awesome. It's just like it's such a win. I saved, like really like $10,000 minimum, or actually more than that. Like if it was 19,700 something for just paying out the balance with the minimum payments, yada yada, or telling myself I'll address this when I need to address this, and then working a settlement, and now getting it to 4,600 instead of $19,000. So I saved like 15 grand by doing this, creating a negotiation, and knowing that it's going to work out however it's supposed to work out. And if it was $7,000, then I would have just set up a payment plan, and I had already, come to terms with that. And because I was unattached, I was able to just like stay in the flow. I put her on hold for like 4 minutes just because. I was like, hey, can you give me a second? I need to take a look at something. I just put her on hold, and then I walked around. I said hey to some of the guys at the supplier I was hanging out at, and then I was like, all right, let me get back into this. I pulled up my one pager back. I was like, okay, where were we? And then just jumped back in, and it was just fun to ask her questions and whatever else, and like get the details, because I wasn't in a rush or anything. So that was just a big validation of where I'm at mentally, emotionally, and financially. So
I love it. I love it. So I'm going to distinguish what's there. Welcome, Siraj. Good to see you. Good to have you here. The crew is back. The band is back together. All right. So I want to bring some distinction to what you just shared. First of all, how revolutionary has that book, Never Split the Difference, been for you in your world?
How revolutionary. I'll say it like this. I had a conversation with a guy, Levi, today that I sold some tickets to, and I told him I would recommend this book to everyone, literally on earth, that speaks English or can understand this book and get it translated, because the subtitle, negotiating like your life depends on it because it does, is true. It's so true. Every single interaction is pivotal. And once you get past the fight or flight response enough times of not wanting any form of conflict, and then it becomes fun. Like I had a quick share on a little Instagram story yesterday where I sold my bicycle. This woman gave me an offer, which I was totally willing to accept, and I almost said yes just because I was like, "Oh, you're cool," and I was like, "Oh, well, I like negotiating. Let me say one line. Let me say one line. Boom! 15 seconds later, I got $20. That's $80 a minute. That's $4,800 an hour. So I made $4,800 per hour negotiating." So I was like, "This is life changing levels of creation and flow and fun and playfulness." And it's something that is like, I know is supporting me in my releasing of any like type of imposter or not readiness or not enoughness, such that I can be like, hey, look, I can walk you through recreating your mission statement and also help you negotiate the best possible outcome for whatever you're focused on right now. And I guarantee that's going to be worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to you. I can, for myself, I can generate $4,800 per hour already. So that.
All right. So that for Antonia and Suraj, there will be some backstory. Don't worry. Some context. Um, so each of us here, I'll give you the broadest context first. Each of us here on the wealth dynamics square is, I'll tell you this, not a tempo. I am Blaze, right? Siraj is Steel, and then Antonia and Preston are heavy in the dynamo. Tempo genius takes the pulse of the moment and the person in front of you and discerns and distinguishes what they most need in order for the deal to take place. So that this exists as the deal maker, which is pretty obvious when you look at the square itself. It looks like the trader, and it looks like the accumulator who knows which deals across a volume of deals to make. So one of the things about wealth dynamics is even if you're not that genius, right? It doesn't mean you get to excuse yourself from awareness of that genius type in your business. You're still going to be negotiating with people. In fact, I'd say probably most of the people here I've negotiated with at one time or another, right? And I've been pretty good at it. Yes? Give me a nod, a thumbs up. Yeah, I found what you most needed. And so it's good for sales, right? So imagining Suraj negotiating a deal with someone who wants to run a retreat at your space, or negotiating a coaching package with someone. Because it's better that they pay you something and get some value than that they not pay you at all because you've got too high a price. So being able to meet them, especially as you're growing your sense of yourself before you're at a level of extremely high volume in leads. At that point, you can be really hot and heavy about, this is my pricing. I'm sorry. Here's a little workshop that's cheaper that you can chew on outside of working with me one-on-one or something. So the backstory is Preston came to me, I think this was quarter four of last year, and was like, hey, I want to negotiate with my boss on how to, make a certain amount of money or whatever it was. I don't remember the exact specifics, but I recommended this book, which was recommended to me at First Texas Honda when I was selling cars. And when I read it, oh gosh, there was an investor who I had borrowed, it was about $6,000, and I was going to turn over $9,000 within 6 months. And I invested it into a marketing agency. That did not work out. The marketing agency, as is common, marketing agencies, unless you already know how to do your marketing for yourself, they're not going to fix something that's broken. They can magnify something that's already working. And for coaches and entrepreneurs in general, what I have heard, what I have observed is the general sense is marketing agencies, they're not going to work. Generally speaking, there may be exceptions, and I'm still parsing the marketplace to see if there are exceptions that I can lean on and trust. in the coaching realm specifically, we'll see about Airbnb. We can vet the industry at that point when it makes sense to do so. But the whole idea is there are certain books that will cover your blind spots, that will enable you to put in place, even if you don't have somebody to partner with as a deal maker, for example, or as a lord, whatever, that you can expose yourself to and engage with, that will enable you to be really super massively effective. Another book that's really great in the Tempo Genius sphere is called Never Lose a Customer Again. It's the steps for how to engage with someone such that basically once you've made a sale, you keep them massively satisfied. And then like it's much easier. You're 63% or something more likely to make a repeat sale to someone who's already bought from you over someone who doesn't know you, right? So if you can find ways to add more value to those who have already bought from you, then you gain this power to leverage the know, like, and trust that you've built with them and to evolve them up what's called the value or the offer ladder through your portfolio or your suite of offers. You all following me so far? Give me a nod, a hand up, a high five. It's like a low-key high five. It was probably a hand up, but I took it as a high five. All right. So I'm not necessarily saying that everybody should read Never Split the Difference right now. To finish my story, I was in a spot where I was just like, I don't want to have to pay this because he's demanding 9 grand right now. And at that point, the money was not in my bank account. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I was so proud. I had the weekend until my call with him, and I raised through that book. And I put together, it wasn't just a one pager, Preston, it was like a 5 page document. I unleashed every single tool from that book. And I negotiated my ass off in that call and brought it down to it was like a $250 per month payment. And yeah, that made it really comfortable to pay this guy off and to not have to deal with him anymore because he was being really like pushy and aggressive. Because frankly, the investment I made didn't pay off. It didn't deliver, and he was putting the pressure of that on me, and I was like, well, that I'm not able to handle that right now. So in any case, if and when you notice you have needs for things in your business, please communicate them because more than likely I have a resource to support you through that challenge, that situation, that issue. And then the last thing I want to point to, other than that, most of my sales involve negotiation. In fact, yesterday's sale involved a negotiation. I was like, here's the thing. And he was like, I don't have that. And I was like, all right, well, how about this? And he was like, all right. And I was like, how about I throw this in so that you pay the rest, like the majority of it today? And he was like, all right, that's great. And then I immediately delivered on the value. So another principle is the moment someone buys from you is the moment you start to over deliver. Meaning there's the actual structure of what you've promised and guaranteed. If you can double that within the first 24, 48 hours, like that will leave someone with such an ebullient experience of exceptional value. Like, whoa, what? I get this too. But wait, there's more. You've seen it on infomercials, right? Which is it reduces it to absurdity. So thank you for being a generous, loving listening. Is this beneficial so far? I love being in the presence with you all because it like pulls from me in a really cool way. Since we've been in the trenches, we've been on the retreat. So I was going to say the last thing I want to add about Preston's share is, and if you could do this elegantly, would be my request, Preston. Have you mixed the principles of your wish is your command and standing in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, like unattachment, with the negotiating principles? If you haven't, we can talk about it. But I had a sense that maybe you had.
Yes.
Tell me how.
Well, I referenced it, I alluded to it, and the share is that the detachment from the outcome and the timing is the I don't know how and when it's supposed to play out. And so the reason that I was able to feel one of the reasons that I was able to feel so divinely supported and aligned and in deep faith with this negotiation about this credit card debt was because previously, through the work of your wish is your command, I had just decided I will address this when it is time to address this. And I didn't know what that looked like. I thought I'll come into some more money. My job will change. I'll get a promotion. I'll get more sales. And it was actually like that was a part. Like I had my most successful month, and then I was like, okay, like maybe this is like I can put money towards this debt and see about creating some type of settlement. And then it was like, yes, you can. Here's the papers to call these people to do it. And yeah, so that's like principle number one. And then it's also a part of the training balance scale is getting my thoughts right and then just taking like the one next action, which is okay, it's time. Well, what do I need to do now? Well, or what can I do now to move this forward in alignment with, knowing that this is going to play out for my advantage? Okay, well, I can prepare, right? So, if given 6 hours to cut down a tree, Abraham Lincoln would sharpen his axe for 5 hours. And another way that this is playing out, so that is my detachment to the timing of things, which is I've been thinking about this RV. I'm going to move into an RV. I'm going to move into an RV. I found the RV. Now I'm negotiating. I'm preparing. I'm working all these deals. I've stopped by twice, and one time he wasn't there. I met his buddy Steve. Steve gave me some Black Swan information that I was able to tease out of him. And then Steve left a message like, "Hey, that guy Preston came by again. He's like maybe talking about bundling the things." And I still haven't heard back from Mark. And I was like, that's okay. That means he's busy enough. He's still working. Like he was down the road working at some other shop, taking care of some stuff. I was like, okay, cool. Like he's not just ignoring me. He needs to see me again. And that's okay. It'll all work out in perfect time. And then I I'm at work and I'm following my integrity and I'm doing the next thing that is in alignment with being who I have said that I want to become. And I shared this on Instagram too. I made a story about this. And I was working 4 hours past whenever I needed to be there so that I could fulfill this post order for a client. And I'm getting a less than a $20 commission for this. And so, but I was like, well, this doesn't matter. This is the things that nobody sees. These are the things that nobody sees where it's like, I said I would have this by Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. I've been so busy Monday and Tuesday working and fulfilling all of these last minute ASAP urgent make sure requests from the owner, and yet I'm still committed to following my word regardless of what comes up. And so I shared that, and I knew that it was about integrity. Well, lo and behold, I'm leaving the yard. I'm closing up, and I'm beat. I'm like in the best way. I'm so beautifully spent with my energy, and I'm like I'm so ready to go home. This guy Gary, who I had met outside that same gate previously, who invited me to church, and I went to church with him, and I got coffee with him. I've shared this story with y'all in the group before. We went down to Portland, and we like adventured around. He went with me to the bank, and all these things, and we just had a great day and a great connection. And then we've been chatting every now and then. He sends me all sorts of stuff about God and his perspective on religion, and it's supportive. I appreciate our friendship. And I hadn't seen him in some time. And I'm leaving and I see him right there. And I'm like, "Gary, oh my gosh, what's up?" And he is like even more exhausted than me. He had like injuries and surgeries in his left arm and leg. And he was like, "Man, I walked so far today. I didn't know if I was gonna make it home. God blessed us again, to meet and to see each other. And if you could, please, could you give me a ride home? I know it's only like 2 blocks, or it's literally just around the corner, but it would really help me out." I said, "Absolutely. Get in the car, Gary." And we get in. He's talking about, "Well, I think I'm ready to start looking for a new place to live." And I was like, "Oh yeah, you and me both." How's the house hunt in Vancouver? I know it's been interesting for me. He's like, "Oh well, yeah, there's actually some communities. I think I might might be able to find a room with some good people close by. And he's got a funny, like, real, like, gentle voice. And I was like, oh, cool, man, I'm happy for you. I'm looking at getting an RV and moving into that. He's like, oh, I did that for a couple years. He goes, well, you know what? I've still got my RV in Arizona, and I can't figure out what to do with it. And it still runs. It's ready to go. It's just been sitting there, and I'm paying almost $200 a month just to keep it in storage. Um, Maybe I could just give it to you.
See, y'all, I don't know where your listening went, but if you listen and wait for the relevance in the gold and trust that it will arise, the stories that come out of people who are practicing your wishes, your command, and these principles, you can't make this shit up. Well done, Preston.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you. So there's a chance that I'm flying down to Arizona and getting a free or super low cost Ford Econoline RV and driving it through California, through Oregon, through the redwood forests, up back here to Vancouver, and go from there.
That's so cool, man. Let's praise and celebrate this man. God at work in this man. Who else gets fed by this man's inspiration and enthusiasm and stories and generosity and genius? I'm glad he's on our side. I'm glad he's on the side of light.
As opposed to working against us.
I don't know. I mean, he wouldn't be working against us. I'm just like glad that he's. Yeah, I was thinking because yesterday, what is it? 2 days ago was May the 4th, right?
Mhm.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Sith, I imagine, look at him and say he would be a powerful ally.
Yeah.
All right. There's a couple more things to mind from his share. Then we'll do our prayer. Then we'll do our putting the rest of you on the hot seat. It sounds like he's doing pretty well. I don't hear any particular challenges. Am I right so far? Yeah, no, you're good. Okay, cool. So everybody repeat after me. Everything that needs to be addressed in my integrity, in my energy, in my business, and in my life, I choose to address in the most aligned timing and way with full resource, grace, and ease. So he just demonstrated that to us. The principle of like, okay, I see that that's important. It's not urgent, but I choose to receive it as such when I need, when I cancel clear, when I have the ability to address it from a resourced, graceful, easeful place. You can simply choose that. You can decide that about certain features and facets of your life, which number one charges your subconscious mind with the intention to organize your expression and your attention so that that time is something that you choose. Because again, none of us have tempo genius in our charts, so we get to cultivate it, right? Tempo geniuses, they just know. They can feel into the moment. But for us, we set that intention. It's like Artemis used to say, if you're wanting to fill the space of your geniuses, you hire the heavens. So you can literally stand in the feeling of your wish fulfilled with receiving a genius that complements yours. Receiving the genius that makes up your power triad is what we call it, right? And for those of you at high dynamo or high steel, you have one of those people in me. I am your supporter. I am your blaze. Eventually, as your business gains scale and scope and strength and structure, you'll want to ground it. Speaking of the right things at the right time, I'm going to fix my food real quick by turning off the heat and the noise. Thank you for your grace. That's just so stuff doesn't burn. And so I have food when I end this thing. I love Preston. What a baller. What an alpha. He's just like sharing and making his food. Like, what I need, I will honor. And who would prefer to address what is in need of being addressed in your life with grace and ease and from resourced perspectives? Yeah. And so there's integrity, right? The more you practice integrity, the higher you rise. Integrity is a mountain with no top, right? So you can be climbing and practicing integrity for the remainder of your life and still not have perfect integrity. That's okay. We're aiming at heaven, because aim at heaven, you'll get earth thrown in. What is earth in this context? Effectiveness. Integrity makes your life work. Without integrity, nothing works, which is why I lean into it when you show up on time or all this, like, do your stuff, right? Because as you cultivate that capacity, that virtue, that characteristic, that orientation of personality, you'll be more effective than everyone around you, because you say, I'm going to do something, and that thing gets done. So everything that needs to be addressed in my energy. I have found today a lot of rage, a lot of like frustration, a lot of experience of like, stuckness. And what I chose to take on, what I have chosen to take on, is that is coming up to come out, and will come out in the perfect right time, right? Because in German New Medicine, they talk about how sometimes we have trauma when we were young that gets compressed into the nervous system. And if all the stored energy of that trauma were to come out at once, it would fry us. We would die. So as we are feeling fully, we feel in doses that are calibrated and titrated by infinite intelligence, by the intelligence of our body. So for me, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs in the cold shower 10 minutes before the call. And I'm like, this feels great. I get this out. I get to let it up. I get to feel it fully. So that's ironing out. This is even a Qigong move, the pebble in the pond, right? We're ironing out the wrinkles in our field, because as you deepen into the practice or in the awareness of your wish is your command, you realize anything that you're holding on to, anything that you're carrying, anything that you're incomplete with, which we'll come back to at the end of the call, is preventing you from receiving whatever it is that you desire. And we talked about this last week in Andres's webinar for our field trip, where he showed us images of like people's energetic fields that are cluttered with density and matter. So the more we cleanse, clear, let go of, release whatever we've been holding on to from the past in terms of judgment, from the past in terms of trauma, the easier and the quicker we manifest whatever. Is this making sense? Cool. And then everything that needs to be addressed in my business and in my life. One of my favorite things is how little I've done with so many things that most people say, this is the thing you have to address today. You have to be obsessed about it. You have to worry about it. You have to lose sleep over it. I'm like, fuck no, I just don't choose that. And if and when it becomes urgent and necessary in my divine alignment, I will. But I'm not going to live knowing that I might die tomorrow addressing these like nitpicky sorts of things. And what is it he says in the book? Don't sweat the small stuff, and it is all small stuff, all of it. So finally, in my life, we'll go back to level 3. Who remembers the 5 levels? Right, we've discussed these. There's disorientation, goal orientation, journey orientation, value orientation, and soul orientation. Journey orientation. Who here's ever watched a movie just to see the final scene? Like you skip the whole thing? Probably no one. Yeah, and just like Preston is returning at the perfect right time, you can trust that everything that needs to get addressed in you will get addressed at the perfect right time for you in the movie that's being made about you by God, by source, by infinite intelligence, as you choose to flow into the next moment, remembering that I choose to stay present to the present of the present. And right now it feels like tension in my stomach and pain in my eye and screaming rage somewhere in the background, 20, 40 minutes ago. And I choose to love all of that. I've got it all going on, and I love that. At which point, I just redeemed the moment. The moment is no longer bad. The moment is no longer heavy. The moment no longer causes me density. I want you all to be free and agile as Preston is in negotiation, but with and negotiating with the meaning of your life. I was going to talk about this. May I distinguish completion for you? Who's down for a quick? I thought we were going to do prayer, but it's reaching back in time and we're just doing a different thing. So completion, and I'm going to set my timer to do this distinction in 3.5 minutes, as a visionary would. So completion. Have you ever noticed that you might finish something, but you're still thinking about it, talking about it, you're still stuck with it, it's still stuck on you? Like, who's ever completed a relationship, but you're still, or you finish the relationship, but you're not complete with it? Like, you're still bringing it up, you're still dealing with it. Well, this can happen with a sale, this can happen with a product, this can happen with a marketing campaign, this can happen with a messaging attempt. Any and all aspects of your business, you can either choose to practice being complete with or getting complete with, or you can carry them around. So many people I've witnessed in business who are entrepreneurs, they hit something and then that thing gets stuck in them. And then the free space of flow and possibility that they are starts to get heavy and dense until eventually they leave the game of entrepreneurship. They give up because the walls that they hit, they took in those walls. They took on those walls. Everybody put in the chat, it ain't over till I win. It's just fun to see that. All caps. All right, love it. So, the point in that is if you keep deciding that things can work out for you eventually, or you can find your way through a question, a challenge, an issue, a low cash flow moment, then you will. If you think you can or if you think you can't, you're right. It's the thinking that makes it so. I am a winner. I am winning. I'm a champion. I'm going to figure it out. Right? So that's so valuable on so many levels. And then completion looks like bringing yourself regularly back to the process of digesting your experience fully. In raw foods, we talk about how you are what you've eaten that you haven't pooped out yet. That your lymphatic system was like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to eat this. This is terrible. Let me save the body from it by adding fat. Like, let me throw a bunch more pounds on his tummy so that he doesn't die because of the shit he just put inside me, right? So in the same way, when we run up against things that trigger us or upset us or whatever that have us lose sleep, unless we have an emotional process of digestion, we'll get stuck with that. And part of why the rage is coming out in my eye, there's a little bit of inflammation today, is like all that I had that was stored in my liver comes out and gets inflamed when I do or eat things that I'm not supposed to or that are misaligned for my nervous system. And it's like, hey, realize my lymphatic system is like, realize we were doing it at a low grade of detoxification, but now we're having to step it up because you've added all these toxins, Lewis. Like, pay attention. And what that points to underneath is the emotional detoxification of the rage at what I was seeing. So the next retreat will be all about sacred body language translations, and we'll do a lot more of that work. So the rage at what I was seeing when I was younger is coming up to come out. It just looks like inflammation. Just like acne on different parts of your body is anger or frustration at something that's going on. So if you ever need a translation, come let me know. And then finally, so do you all desire to get complete in your life or to practice being complete? Did that land enough to make sense? Yeah. The more complete you are, the more completely capable you are of manifesting quickly, easily, efficiently, effortlessly. Last thing I want to say about Preston, because him showing up is always such a rich fountain of shares and distinguishing. One of my mentors, one of the top guys in NLP on the planet, Paul Ross Jeffries, he used to use this metaphor of you don't want to have to hack at things. You don't want to have to work hard at things. You want to find the right place to tap the snowball so that it falls in the right direction and takes on its own momentum. So me giving Preston that book was And then eventually your wish is your command was like tapping the snowball twice. And now it's falling. Now it's gaining momentum, right? I witnessed that in you, sir. So I acknowledge you for that. Thank you for being the tip of the spear in that direction for us. So let's synchronize hearts, minds, and God, and then we'll do some more hot seats. You down? All right. So everybody bring your right hand to your heart. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. And again. Third strongest, deepest breath of the day down into your diaphragm. Slow on the out with a sigh. Infinite divine intelligence, we surrender. May what is most meant to be come to be easily and effortlessly through our conversation, even starting back in time at the beginning of this call, for the highest and best good of us all, with grace, ease, and gratitude, for love, for the experience of bliss, peace, and joy in each and every moment, with the trust and knowing that our businesses are thriving as vehicles of our service and our purpose, of our gifts, of our overflow. Giving all that we know not how to do to you, infinite intelligence. All that we haven't figured out how to fix or solve or resolve. All that we're dealing with and in process with. Trusting and know that in divine aligned timing, all has been resolved, that our highest and best has been achieved, and that intuition, the voice of our future successful self in our present time, will serve up exactly what we need to do, exactly where we need to go, exactly what we need to focus on. In the most delightful way. And breathe, y'all. And just repeat aloud, and I love that. And all that is, I love that. However I am works. However I am can work to have my business thrive. Especially in tribe. I receive my thriving life with ease. I will to feel. I will to heal. I am my full thriving returning. And so be it, and so it is. Coming gently and slowly back into the room at your own pace, way, and time. We got a full 30 minutes and 2 hot seats to do. Possibly some more content, depending on you. Still in flow here. Who's next? Who's up? Who wants to share and get some attention? Oh yeah, oh that's funny. Antonia's volunteering Suraj. What has you here, my friend? What do you want to celebrate? What do you want help with? Or did you just want to be in the ambiance today?
Yeah, I just want to be in the ambiance today. I've been running a little low on sleep, and I hope to break that cycle today by going home sooner than usual and then going to bed sooner than usual. Um, then I'll be celebrating the win. Right now, not so much, but if I can go to sleep before 10 p.m., it's 5:45 here. So it's still sunlight out. If I can go to sleep by 11 p.m., I'm not even going to be ambitious, then that'll be a good one.
Amazing.
Yeah, work's been busy. I've been juggling that with finally making my apartment feel like I've fully moved in. It's been like 8 months since I moved in here, but it never felt like it was fully complete. So I've been buying some things and getting rid of some things to feel like to make my apartment feel very welcoming when I come back home.
Mhm.
I've put my Airbnb on the back seat for a couple weeks just in terms of, headspace and, going and constantly changing prices just so, I can do these two things, which is work and the other stuff, as well as some of the assignments we are doing in our own business coaching container. So I feel like I need to bring back some attention to it, which is just go and check if there are any weekends when it's not booked, then maybe change the minimum nights, change the pricing a little bit. That's something I want to do over this weekend. My working out routine has slowed down a little bit, but I'm not super worried about it. Every chance I get, I'm taking like a long walk, which usually, makes me like refreshes me, so that feels good. I'm participating in something called as Beta Breakers next Sunday. I'm looking forward to that with a bunch of friends. It's basically like a super eccentric 7 mile walk that starts from one corner of San Francisco and goes to another. And it's people in all kinds of costumes. It's like a very quintessentially unique San Francisco day. You will also see, you can't take a single picture without a dick popping up. There's a lot of people with their dicks out. So that's going to be happening. Some of my friends from Austin are visiting that weekend. So I'm looking forward to that weekend. And hopefully this Sunday I'll go for like a mini run or a jog to, just warm myself up instead of doing it cold on the 17th.
Amazing. Thanks
Yeah.
for the update. Is there anything we can do to support you with the sleep or with anything else?
Um, no, I think I just need to break the loop, even if I feel like there are things that I haven't completed in my routine. There are things that still feel incomplete. One of the reasons I haven't slept is, I tend to become productive and I tend to be doing something important at like 9 or 10 p.m., you know. And then I tell myself, okay, if you're already in this productive flow, then just go out and finish this task. And by the time I go to sleep, it's already 12:31. And then the next morning ends up being shitty. And the 2 hours of productiveness that I got late in the night isn't really that helpful or doesn't really do a good of a job to offset the morning stuff. So even if I'm in productive flow at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. today, I'm gonna tell myself I'm to go to sleep, force myself to do it. So that's it. That's all that's needed. Yeah.
Heard that? Well,
Yeah.
will you go to bed on time and get good sleep tonight? It's in
Yeah.
your power. Do you choose?
Yes, I chose to sleep early tonight.
All right, cool. Would you like? Well, I guess you're already on the habit sharing app, so I'll see you
Mhm.
tomorrow then. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see tomorrow. Yes.
All right. Sounds great, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, let's acknowledge Suraj. Glad to have you here,
Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to see everyone since I think first time seeing everyone in the same spot since the retreat.
marinating in the energy. I
Yeah.
love it. Beautiful. All right. Well, I guess that's your hot seat, my friend. It's more of a lukewarm seat today. Go ahead, Antonia.
Hi. Wow, there's so much been going on, a lot of processing and just realizing and a lot of journaling. It's been just really great. And there's been a flow of people flowing into my life from the past as well. And I see I see the habit, the pattern actually that they challenging me step out of myself for them, and feel guilty because I'm feeling great and they feel low and they want to take me there with them and I'm not willing to go. And then there's that guilt tripping. So it's really it's just great to observe that and just be like, it's all right. I'm going to stay right here where I'm at. I'm not going there at all. I'm not even reading their messages, taking the phone calls. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to deal with their energy. When they shift, they can talk to me. So that's been great. Yeah, I just finished the editor finished editing 6 of my children's books. I'm so thrilled about them. I like 6 of them. Can't wait to illustrate all of them. What else? Yeah, I'm working on 2 novels still. Activity book is coming along as well. The website is taking a bit longer, which is okay because usually I'll be like bitching about it and complaining and trying to force it and press the guy like what the hell. But I'm like, okay, I get it, it's okay, I understand, I just flow with it. So because it has to be updated for my parenting coaching and packages I want to offer and do. So that's in the progress. It's wow, synchronicities have been crazy. Whoa, like I want something and there it is. It's like, whoa, okay. So I'm like, be careful what you're asking for right now. That's been very interesting. Oh yeah, just when you said to read the Prosperous Coach, the book, I was writing things down what I want to do. And I was thinking to reread the Ultimate Coach book, But instead of the Ultimate Coach, I wrote the Prosperous Coach. And then you say we need to read that. I'm like, what? That was on my list already. That was like, okay, interesting, Yeah, just feeling so present in the flow, high, clear as fuck in what I want and where I'm at and what I'm doing. I've been going to gym every single morning. Like the movement is so important to me. I see more energy I'm generating. So it's been just fantastic. What a ride. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm learning, I'm expanding, I'm living. Tonight, I'm sleeping a little as well, but it's working for me because I don't eat much. I was on the fast, on the dry fast, on water fast, on fruit fast. And Suraj, if you're interested, feel free to reach out. Yeah. Because if you don't sleep, if you want to sleep less, you need to eat less as well. It affects like I noticed that. But it's working for me. I took a nap just like before our meeting. I took a nap. So I feel like it's a morning actually now. It's like good morning. And
How
it
long
was
was the
snowing.
nap?
Say what? The nap was like an hour and a half.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Like
And also,
logistically, how do I work this out? Because clearly you're sleeping in the middle of the day some.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, honestly, I've always thought if corporations wanted more, like the employees to do more work during the day, have sleep pods or sleep rooms. The
yeah,
amount of productivity boost you can get from literally a 30-minute nap in the middle of the afternoon is unimaginable.
so
Uh,
true.
but somehow there's not even a single meeting room that you can't like lock. I guess meeting room wouldn't work because they're already in shortage. But yeah, the idea of having nap rooms is so far away from what would actually get entertained here that it's unbelievable. But yes, I think 30 minutes nap in the afternoon can make all the difference in how your day goes.
Yeah, napping helps. Like I work with children, so I'm putting them for a nap and I nap with them while I'm doing that. So if I sleep only 2 hours a night, so I
Yeah,
will have few naps throughout the day. Even if it's 10 minutes, I'm like, whoo, I'm recharged. It's like,
yeah,
so I'm tuning into that and feeling into it. So I focus that sometimes I feel a little bit like out of it. I'm not getting things right away. I need a bit longer to process, or I feel a little off. I'm like, okay, I need a nap. So I go for a nap and that really helps. That really helps. So yeah, I've been yeah, it's working for me the way I've been sleeping.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm so excited about I want to create oh, check out the space that I was looking at that I was thinking to rent as a bookstore, workshops, a daycare. And the guy sent me all the paperwork and everything, the price, this, that. I want to see the space. Nah, I didn't feel it. So, but it was great to just like be in that space of imagination and what's possible. And it's like, hey, if I want that, I could totally freaking do it, you know? So it's just like, okay, what's next? What's next? So
So
yeah.
it's a good time to buy real estate. I mean, it depends on the state and the city and everything, but inventory seems to be higher.
I think she's
Well,
renting.
you're renting. Yeah, it's a good time to be renting, at least in Austin, right? But
I want
I
I
know you're
rent.
not in. Yeah,
I
but
want rented here. Don't feel
across
it.
the country, rent seems to have come down. So
Mm,
if a place seems attractive, it might be the case that, yeah, it's because
mm.
rents have come down. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
you guys, I'm going to share something. It's been since 2 months that one time, Luis, you said, oh, maybe, Antonia, do you want to be in a relationship? You want a man? Maybe first you attract that and then the rest. I'm like, no, no way. I'm okay on my own. And then I looked into that and I'm like, actually, I do want a man. So I've been meditating, right, since like 2 months or so, and just feeling the guy, totally feeling it right here, right now. It's here. It's been a crazy flow of men since 2 months in my inbox, Instagram, Facebook, like you name it, on my incline community, and few ex boyfriends as well, few ex guys that I dated as well reaching out. I'm like, all right, and then I'm going to the gym, coffee shops, wherever I'm at. Guys are opening the door for me. They're kissing my hand. I'm like, what? What the hell is going on? I'm like, okay, this is like I'm getting overwhelmed. So I'm like, need to just close and dissect. Like, okay, just focus on what you want. But yeah, it's been interesting to observe all that.
There's so much I can say. I'm so pleased for you. I'm so delighted. Queen Antonia. So you're activating. It's so funny because I can just throw a couple resources into someone's life, and if they really take them seriously, so much erupts. Like for you, what I'm seeing in this now moment is this mix of like Awaken Life Live and your wishes your command. And like your own energy, your own flow, your own bliss. And then also like I choose this. And
Yeah.
that is so massively magic and magnetic because when we feel good now, we are easier and more delightful to be around. People can see it, they can smell, they can feel it energetically. They're like leaning in, like, hey, what's with this person? And then also, you're a beautiful woman. You know exactly who you are. You know exactly what you're about. So of course, you have.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so that all of that. Yeah.
Mm.
So welcome to being royalty. Everybody put that in the chat. Welcome to being royalty. That's what happens when you choose. And that's why he talks about it's the courts of royal families who use the your wishes, your command stuff, right? Welcome to being royalty. And then something else important worth noting early on in Marilyn Janae's work, she has a 2-month course that's like $500. It's pretty good. It's like a sequel to the book, right? Lesson 1 from the end of Failure to Prosper is the first lesson from that course. And she talks about how when you start to manifest, you start to activate, you're going to get all these different options. You may get an overwhelm of options. Regional alignment to the frequency that you're focused on. And so it's up to you to be really clear on what your highest choice is.
I'm so fucking clear. Like I've been journaling about every single thing that I want. Even as a child, I took my picture when I brought a picture when I was a child, and I'm looking at her and I'm like channeling, remembering what she wanted as well, and how important it is to give to that child what she wants right now, right here. Still, she wants to play and have fun and create. It's amazing. I'm so clear. There's so much clarity. I've been seeing hearts everywhere. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel your love. Thank you, universe. Thank you. Yeah, but those hearts have been following me since like years. I've been seeing these hearts, you guys. So it's not a new thing to see the hearts for me. Just so you know.
For us to be
Yeah.
let in on your magical journey, and
Oh,
appreciate it. I love all the
yeah.
hearts still getting produced in our M5 innermost. Yeah, that's so great.
I feel them. I feel them. I like, whew, I feel them. It's empowering. It feels good to be so empowered, self-empowered, empowered by others. And it's great to be where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay.
Is there anything
Say
you
what?
need? Is there anything you want support on?
No.
No. Yeah, that's good. That's fun.
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be with you guys. Suraj, thank you so much for coming in this space. So good to see you, man. Like you're so part of this. So thank you. So
Thank you,
yeah,
Antonia.
just
You're
aw.
lovely. Yeah, thanks for saying that. I appreciate being here.
You're welcome. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
just I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
yeah.
Your presence, excitement, and how he's navigating and negotiating, and it's like whoa. And yeah, good stuff. Empowered by you guys, every one of you.
Mm. We
Mm.
love you too. I
Ah.
I love you, Antonia. Yeah, love you.
I love that this
Thank
space,
you.
it's becoming more like a pit stop for NASCAR race cars. Like you're already at high speed, you're moving with grace and ease, you're fueled, you're enjoying being ahead in the race, and then you slow down and you're like, all right, let me receive some grace and give myself some grace about the race I've been driving,
Mm-hmm.
and then also celebrate how fast
Yeah, I've been navigating that.
speed.
Yeah, shifting and yeah, feeling into it. Like, whoo, it can be crazy and wild and all over the freaking place, and be like, whoo, in my grace and humbleness and royalty and godliness, you know? Yeah,
It's so
feels
funny.
good to feel good.
There's also something about, I'll leave you here. I'll end your hot seat with this, unless you want to say more. There's something about the hair.
I am complete. The
The
hair?
hair
What
that
is about the
changed.
hair?
I don't know, but energetically, it really shifted your gear into a very specific vibe. At least I've been tracking that since the retreat. Maybe it was the retreat.
Say it's been since I've been getting back to myself,
Mm-hmm.
since I joined your team, since I started working with you, I'm not gonna give you the power. Since I've decided that I had fucking enough of living the way I live. And then I joined your team and I started reading and did what works for me and all that. It's all that. And the hair, yeah, I keep changing my hairs. Yeah, I know it's the first time you now see it, but more to come.
There's more on the way. It's awesome. All right. Well, let's acknowledge. Oh, the Zoom room couldn't handle her. Let's acknowledge her anyway. She'll see it on the replay, maybe.
Louis, I just had a thought.
Back. We
Can
were
I share?
to Antonia.
Yeah.
Hold that thought, Suraj. We'll come to
Okay.
it in just one moment. I was going to
Okay.
say,
Go ahead.
we're going back to a book a month. If you're still working on your wishes, your command, great. Keep digging in on that. Always teachability.
I am almost done with it.
And
Freaking awesome book, man. Thank you so much. I was so resistant. Like, what the heck?
I know, I saw that. That's why I leaned in
Like, one more
about a
book,
month and a
man.
half.
I'm still a little bit resistant, but I've committed to finishing it at some point. But while reading
Finish it.
it, there is still resistance. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If you want a reason to read your wishes, your command, just look at these motherfucking humans.
Yeah, yeah.
Like how they've been lit on fire and how they are getting their desires and growing. I mean, like it becomes easy when you know that you're capable of so much more and the mindset shifts. But I was gonna say for you, Suraj, you don't need to read The Prosperous Coach this month. We just, we had an onslaught over the past month and a half of new coaches joining the mastermind. And I'm like, all right, my intuition says this is the book. For you, you know what to do. It's Millionaire Master Plan. It's your wishes, your command with extra space. Now I'm open for your comment, whatever it was you wanted to add in.
Yeah. This is probably going to sound very unconventional, so feel free to push back. But a lot of the stuff that we talk here is about financial freedom and money. So I was like, can I make some stock market recommendations? Things that I've been looking into, and the standard advice of this is not financial advice, and do your own research applies. But as everyone probably knows, there has been a huge uptick and flow of money into AI stocks. And something that is now getting attention is there has been a huge memory shortage. And all of these data centers, all of these AI frontier models need memory and they need data. And the interesting thing is there's only one company which makes the machine that makes chips, that is ASML. There's only one company, pretty much, maybe two of them, that actually manufactures the chips, which is TSMC and Samsung. And maybe if Elon Musk set something up in Austin, then that would do it. And there are only like three companies which can make DRAM, which is nothing but high bandwidth memory. And those three companies are Micron, Samsung, and SK Hynix. You might already be hearing about this a little too late because all of these stocks have run up close to 1,000% in the last 2 years. But memory shortage is not going away anytime soon. This much I feel certain about. What that usually translates to is these companies making a lot of money and the stock price going up. And Micron, especially, there's something called as a forward P ratio, which is a ratio of their upcoming revenue and their valuation. For some companies like Tesla, it's very high, which indicates an overvalued stock. Normally, it's like 20 to 30 for tech stocks. For Micron, even with the 1,000% run up in the past 2 years, it's under 20 or 10. So, if you're interested, research memory stocks. Micron is something that I'll leave you with, but look into it and you might make a few percentage of money on it if you invest in it. Or you may not, or you might lose it. So that's the recommendation I want to leave you guys with.
Could you please write that in the chat? Are you
Yeah.
willing to write that in the chat? What you just said with the checkout, please? Because I'm a visual. I need to see it, please. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I was going to ask the same thing.
yeah, I can do that.
Thank you for sharing, Suraj.
Of course.
Good
And
stuff.
Louis, do I have permission to share this on the M5 chat, or I can do a DM thread? Because I know this is like not something we usually do. So
The M5 chat is fine. Yeah,
okay. Okay. Cool.
that's great. Yeah, and I was acknowledging you in the chat there. You were leading into your accumulator. Yeah, because as a steel genius, you have wings on the mechanics side, like optimizing the system of the Airbnb, and then you're paying attention to the marketplace of stocks and bonds and index funds and all the things in a way that we aren't necessarily, not intrinsically, not all the time. And also in a way that isn't best suited for our genius. So good to have you on our team covering our six, as it were. Yeah.
Great.
Money is one of the M's. Yes. Yes, we'll get back to that. Once more revenue is flowing in for all of you, we can talk about how to manage it. And yeah, I mean, I think it is actually the time for Preston to start managing, because he's really increasing his revenue a lot. And then Antonio just made a sale recently. So thank you, Suraj. That's all great. We love that. All right. So we're going to come back to something. You remember how before we did our little field trip to Andres Martinez, I was quoting you another badass coach, and his training material is about consistency, courage. Who remembers this? Yeah, it's probably still on Preston's board. He's going to show us. It's fine. I believe you. That's great. No doubt. So we're going to do a brief breeze through his content on consistency, which will be impactful regardless of where you're at. It could be consistency about your efforts in learning, Suraj, or mastering habits. It could be your consistency in keeping your vibration, Antonia, or it could be your consistency in feeding your vision, Preston, of your newly clarified, like creative, expressive business as a consultant. So I'm just going to read this. It's going to be quick because we've got maybe 4 minutes for it, and then I'll share the link in the group chat. Consistency. Dave Burns says, I've gotten a behind the curtain look at a lot of human, all too human lives in my decade as a coach. The number one skill I've seen set those who flourish apart from those who don't is the skill of consistency. Eric, consistency. When you watch this, consistency in your content, for example. All right. Below are the best tools I've found for creating it. Number one, shamelessness. If you attack yourself for moments of inconsistency, you will take longer to return to consistency. Shame reinforces avoidance. Who's had this in the past? Who chooses to no longer have this in the future? Yeah, okay, great. It's okay that you missed a day. Don't make it mean anything about yourself. Just relax and recommit. Number two, do it first. Um, Brandon Bouchard says, done by one. That is one of his phrases. So he's talking about get it done before 1 o'clock. The later in the day, the more distraction. The more distractions, the harder it is to be consistent. The easiest way to do something consistently is to do it first, Suraj. That's why we got your bunker there at 6 a.m. Number three, anti-fragile reflection. If your life includes rhythmic reflections that transform every failure into greater resilience, every lapse in consistency will actually increase your consistency long term. Remember, I was talking about completion? This is about getting complete with inconsistency. If you get your inconsistency complete, your consistency will increase. The simplest system for this has 4 steps. Number one, every day, track whether you attend to your top priority. Number two, every week, look at how many times you didn't. Number three, for every time you didn't, ask why. Number four, for every why, ask how you can protect against it in the future. You're ironing out the wrinkles in your field of play or activity or focus or action. And then he says a more rigorous system is number one, plan out every minute of your week in your calendar with as many recurring events daily as possible. I don't know that we're all going to do that, but we're just going to let you know that this is an option. Number two, either follow what the calendar says or change what it says to reflect what you actually did. Number three, compare what happened to what you predicted would happen every week. Number four, for every deviation, change either the recurring calendar or some aspect of your life. If you find out you're going to bed later than planned, my intuition gave us this article today, then either change your bedtime in the calendar or begin setting a wind down alarm. Could that be helpful, Suraj?
Yes.
Seeing it. Both of these systems derive their power from simple awareness. You have a natural desire to live with alignment and skill. Everyone does. Your desire simply needs a practice of awareness to refine its expression. Who wants more of this guy, by the way? Yeah, so I want to honor him by number one, showing you what he looks like. It's really a funny picture. That's Dave Burns. Oh man, he's going to be here in Austin at the end of April to celebrate what's known as the Eleusinian Mysteries re-expressed. These are old school, direct experience of Gnostic, like contact of God in your own soul kind of thing. And I bought a ticket as soon as I could the moment I found out that he was producing something. This guy is a genius. A thing that induces an altered state of consciousness and activates God and the soul. Like imagine like massively successful coach like Jonathan England, but makes a piece of fiction and says, all right, this piece of fiction will activate your heart. So anybody who wants to come to that, I'll drop that link in the chat, in the group chat. Of course, that would mean you'd have to fly to Austin. But hey, I've got at least one couch for one of you, and then maybe Suraj. I don't know. Maybe if Suraj comes, there would be more space. But yeah, I guess it's like $250 a night at your place, right? So you guys could split it. It'd be like, I don't know, 70, 80 bucks a pop. So I don't know. I didn't do the math there, so don't quote me on that. Everybody drop in the chat. What are you leaving with? Give me one word or one phrase. And then we're gonna come off of mute with a let's fucking go M5. Refreshed, Suraj says. Oh, I need to include myself fully. I got empowered in the face of chaos. Be the change you want to see, y'all. I really didn't want to show up today. I was just like, fuck, I feel so fucky. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let's just do it. Get in the cold shower, get ready, be the source of the value, and then receive. Antonia says consistency, excitement, alignment, flow, empowerment. Preston says released and received. Thank you, Lewis. You're welcome. Oh, the hearts are increasing. All right. I'm finishing elegantly. I'm so proud. My clock says we have actually one more minute. But we're gonna end now. So on three, M5, 1, 2, 3.
M5.
Five. So Dave, love y'all.
So Dave.
Peace and love. Have a good night.
Night.
Good night.